Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at the New York State Brewers Association Allied Member Meeting. This meeting was requested in April when we had our last meeting. It was requested that we have another one here in mid-June. So I'm nothing if not accommodating to requests from Allied members. So here we are. Some of the initial information I'll run through may be redundant to anybody who has been in the Allied meetings before, but if you're new, it'll be, I think, very helpful to learn a little bit about the industry here in New York State. And there'll be plenty of time for questions, and you don't have to wait. If you have a question as we're going through, just talk. It's okay. This is a very informal, friendly discussion here. Did I say I'm Megan? I'm the Director of Partnerships. I've been with the organization for 9 years. I took a brief hiatus last year, but here I am back with the organization that I love, in an industry I love working in. And I'll say just right out of the gate, our Allied Partner Program is really, really critical to the growth of New York craft beer industry. You all play such an important role in the community as a whole, and we can't thank you enough for your support and your involvement. It's because of you that New York growth has really outpaced the national growth averages across the country. So I'm going to share my screen here so you can see this riveting deck I've prepared for you. You see it now, everybody?
Yes.
Yep, we can see it, Megan.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so a little bit about the growth. I love this graphic, this very sharp V. We did not surpass pre-prohibition levels until about 2018. I remember when we finally passed 400 breweries again, and it was a pretty momentous occasion for us. So right now we have 538. Those are licensed breweries. So that doesn't account for multiple locations, which is very much a trend we are seeing here in New York, is breweries opening a tap room or a brew pub, or 2, 3, 4 locations, both in state and out of state. So 538 licensed breweries, that puts us number 2 in the country after California, which has about 1,100. So no one's gonna catch up to California anytime soon. But we did pass Washington about 3 years ago with number of craft breweries. So we're due for an economic development study. The numbers I have are slightly outdated from 2018, so they've only gone up. But at the time, the craft beer industry in New York accounted for over 700 million in paid wages, with about 20,000 equivalent full-time employees, almost 50 million brewery visits in 2018. And at the time, there were about 100 fewer breweries than there are now. So you can think that these numbers might be 20% higher than they were in 2018, 25% higher, and a $5.4 billion industry economic impact. So this is big business. There's a lot of opportunity. And we have a lot of people on the call, some people in the same industries or technically competitors. I really believe that there is enough business in this industry for all of us to do well and be happy. I really enjoy this statistic. We survey our breweries on a fairly regular basis, and always ask them about their relationship with the Allieds and the member program. And this number has been consistent for the 9 years that I've been here. Is 80% of breweries said that they consider whether or not a company is an Allied member when deciding whether or not to do business with that company. Especially if things are relatively equal in terms of price and customer service. But it's important. The breweries understand that the Allied members are largely funding the industry and helping them to save time, save money, grow, and so they look to give you back their business. So we have a really awesome suite of logos here associated with the NYSBA. They're married, but they're distinct for the individual elements, such as the competition and the conference. The Think New York, Drink New York is our consumer-facing mark, but it is now available to Allied members to use. It was not originally it was just the organizational mark and the conference and the competition, but now all 4 of our marks are available. There's a link on our website under shared assets where you can use these for promotional purposes, and we highly encourage you to do so. It strengthens the industry, and it really positions you in a better light than your competition that may or may not be members. So short run of business cards, email signature on your website. If you're at any sort of industry event, put the logo in your booth space. It'll help open doors and start conversations for you. So, so you have all 4 available to you. I will pause here and just say that our competition is the largest state level competition in the country, with about 1,300 beer entries in 2023. Obviously, we'll look to grow that in 24. 27 or so categories the beer is judged on. And it's pretty tough competition. It's noteworthy to win a medal at the New York State craft beer competition. And then we'll talk more about the conference at the end here. But like the competition, the conference is the largest of its kind in the country. So we're really proud of the growth we've seen with both of those initiatives. They are both fundraisers for the organization, and the conference is the single biggest fundraiser of the year for the NYSBA. Excuse me. So some of you who were on the call in April may remember that at that time, we were really thinking through a relaunch of the Allied program, really looking at our benefits, doing research across the country, both in this industry and outside, looking at our assets. And so we relaunched the Allied member program about a month or so ago. There are now 2 levels. There's associate at $549 and Allied at $699. And we did that for 2 reasons. One is to accommodate large and small companies. You know, we have multinational companies that support us, as well as literally a guy who whittles top handles in his garage. So we wanted to make sure there was opportunity for businesses of all kinds to participate in the community. That's why we have the 2 levels. We also have the 2 levels to accommodate in-state and out-of-state. Previously, the benefits were really kind of focused on companies that could show up in person more regularly at the events, at the meetings, at the networking. And we just have so many supporters from outside New York that we had to rethink their return on investment. Because ultimately the idea is that we're all doing well, right? The support of Allieds comes because Allieds are seeing business growth in the New York market, and then funding the organization which can better support New York State craft breweries. The breweries save time, save money, grow more efficiently, and have more capital to spend with the Allied members. And I call it the perfect circle. I've seen it work. It can work. It's beautiful when it does. But that's the theory that all this is based on. So here are the benefits. Official status as an Allied member. Again, your competitors probably are not members, or all of them anyways. And so that's something to really communicate and share with your prospects. The right to use the logos, all 4 are available to you. Invitation to attend brewers meetings. So we do a brewers meeting in association with each of our consumer facing festivals. So those are Buffalo, Syracuse, and Albany. There's real value to coming to those, even though those are B2C. In addition to the fact that we will always have a brewers meeting as part of those, which is a B2B networking educational opportunity. We also do a tour, typically Q3, Q4. The organization is governed by 11 board members. 2 are ad hoc and 9 are representative of each of the regions of the state. And so we do the tour to visit each of those regions. 4 of the 9 are already on the calendar. The calendar link is in the main nav on the website. So we're getting those scheduled, and for anyone who can, we highly encourage you to attend those regional meetings. The content's the same at every meeting, but the audience is obviously different because they're in different regions. And we see 30 to 50 brewery representatives at each of those. So we have the meetings that accompany the festivals as well as the regional meeting tour. You have the opportunity to submit content for the website. It's not perfectly well organized. That is on us and something we hope to address in 2023. But when you submit a blog, as long as it's not a sales pitch, it's not too self-serving, and it does provide value to our membership, we post it and then we excuse me, we share it in the Brewers Only Facebook group. We put it in the Brewers newsletter. We do what we can to kind of help push it out there and get eyeballs on it. We added a search feature a couple of years ago, which has been awesome. So that, you know, somebody has a question about labeling, let's say, they can just put labeling in search, and then all the content we have on labeling will pop up. Listing in the member directory is really important. Going back to the statistic that breweries are looking to see what companies are members. So there is a form, the link's on the website, to submit your content, your contact information to be included in that directory. So if you look at the directory and you're not included, please fill out the form either again or for the first time, and we'll get you listed. You do receive a discount to the conference, whether as an attendee or as an exhibitor, which as an exhibitor was pretty significant this past year. It was $1,100 if you are a member and $1,800 if you are not a member. So if you have any interest at all in the conference, then membership is it's important to help save money on attending the conference. And so there's the associate level and the allied level. The allieds also receive complimentary tickets to any one festival. Easy to take advantage of those. All you have to do is send me an email saying, we're going to Buffalo or we're going to Syracuse, whatever it is. And I will add the company name to the will call list. So you don't have to worry about who's actually using those tickets. It doesn't matter. You don't have to tell me if someone's changed their mind or this sister is switching out for this cousin. It doesn't matter. Just enter the company name. And whoever's going should know that they do not have to wait in the long entrance line. Go right around all the crowded people, right to the will call table, and get easy entrance into the festival. So again, highly encourage you to take advantage of those benefits if you can, if you're in New York State. So we added a new menu of a la carte benefits, and this has gone pretty well so far. If there's something that you'd like to do, another way you think to access the membership that's not listed here, absolutely let me know, reach out. This is not exhaustive, right? It's just the result of our research and conversations. But certainly we'd love to be creative and help you with something else. But hosting a webinar is a pretty popular opportunity, as well as a dedicated email blast. The webinars are a great fit for a company that has a lot of intellectual property to share, right? That has information, educationally oriented, service organizations are a good fit. Accountants, insurance, lawyers tend to do really well with webinars. So we're happy to host it, co-host. We do the marketing for it and try to drive registrations and RSVPs for that. The Facebook group you cannot access. It is just for the brewery members. And we will post your ad in that. Typically, I'll then take a screenshot and send it to you so you can see, and we moderate the comments for you. A couple of years ago, one example, we had several breweries that were, I'll say, complaining about a CO2 provider. And I saw the conversation happening in our Facebook group and reminded them that the company they were complaining about was not an allied member, but that we did have a competitor that was an allied member. And I shared that contact information in the chat of the Facebook group. And the member was able to get 6-7 inquiries out of that and convert, I think, 5 to new customers. So, so there is value to participating in that group. to the extent that you can while not being a member. We've talked for years about a group that includes the allies and the breweries, and we're pretty close to doing that. About 2 months ago, we've had some internal changes here at the organization. We are hiring for a key position, but again, hope to roll that out in 2023, because it does come up at every single one of these meetings.
Hey, Megan.
Doesn't it, Glenn Clark?
Hi. I know we've talked about this before. Have you considered, I know you talked about a private Facebook group for allies plus breweries. I would love a Facebook group with the people on this chat, allied only Facebook group. I think we could share information and prospects and,
yeah,
and all that.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. We've also talked about whether or not it should live on Facebook, because a lot of people don't have Facebook accounts, and should it be a different type of forum? It honestly, Glenn, I'd love to do that. It's just a question of bandwidth. So we'll look at that. We'll look at an allied only as well as I'll say community-wide group and see what might be.
It's have something on LinkedIn for allies.
On LinkedIn, yeah, that would be a good place to do it too. Yeah, thanks. So there's newsletters. We send newsletters out to all the breweries once a month, and there's opportunity to advertise in those, and then publishing a blog series. Those were quite popular a few years ago. We don't get as many inquiries about a blog series anymore. You set the cadence and the topic. We do the promotion on that, and it's the idea is that it's pieced out, right? So maybe it's once a week for the month of August, and it's like the theme of the blog for August, or you can do it once a day for a whole week. Send out some content so that it kind of builds. Like by the end, they have more of like a book, a handbook or something. So if you're interested in any of these, you can actually go ahead and purchase them online, and then we'll work on scheduling and assets and make sure you get all taken care of. We probably aren't going to do any webinars during July or August, only because it's just tough, right? People are traveling. It's tough to get people there. There's a lot of value in the recording of them still, but probably we will resume webinars in September. Okay, so if you don't have the app on your phone, assuming you have a smartphone, go ahead into the App Store, find New York Craft Beer, and download the app. You'll be one of 50,000 people to do so. And this is a B2C thing, really, but it's a great way for you to track which breweries you visited. It's a great way for you to learn about breweries anywhere in the state. You can see events that are happening. And so I highly recommend that you all have the app. Okay, so now we're getting into some newer content here. The calendar on the website is up to date, but here's some important dates for you. As I said, 4 of the 9 regional meetings are already booked. And we have the next festival is Buffalo, which is next Saturday, 2 Saturdays, a week and a half from now. The next festival after that isn't until November, just before Thanksgiving. So hopefully we'll see some of you at either Buffalo, Syracuse, and definitely at the regional meetings. You have the right to attend any and all of those regional meetings. We had a couple last year. I wanted to do like tour shorts, right, with check boxes. They hit all 9 of the regional meetings. Excuse me. Okay, let's talk about the conference. My favorite thing that I work on is the conference. I absolutely love the 3-day affair that takes place in downtown Albany now. It is our biggest fundraiser. It's our biggest opportunity to pull together the community in one space and time for 3 days. So here's the information for 24. March 20th is the welcome party, and then full days on the 21st and 22nd. There's 4 ways to participate in the conference: sponsor, exhibit, present, attend. And there's you can be multiple things. You don't have to pick just one. The call for abstracts will be going out around mid-August, so keep an eye for that. It is a committee decision. It's not my decision or staff decision who gets selected. There's a lot of factors that go into it: male, female, technical, non-technical, different tracks, who's spoken before. There's many factors, but I do encourage you to submit an abstract. You can submit however many you'd like. You can submit a panel. You can submit to speak on a topic on your own. Anything goes, really, as long as they're value provided, right? They're not sales pitches. So that's August. That kind of kicks off the conference communications. We're hoping to make decisions and notify presenters the end of September, beginning of October. And then exhibitor registration will open beginning of October. The exhibit hall will have 105 spots again this year, and it will likely be sold out by Christmas. We had 15 companies on the wait list last year. So if exhibiting is something you're interested in, you'll wanna jump on that pretty quickly. We're looking into a system that allows you to choose your own exhibit spots. A couple of our members were extremely gracious last year, got there, realized their competitor across the hall from them, across the aisle from them, took a little bit of rearranging and a lot of patience and humility, and we were able to work it out. So you know, we always tried our best to place companies, you know, not near competitors, good spot, you know, not all the same industry in a row, that kind of thing. But things happened, and so we do want to give you the option of choosing your own booths for next year. So we're working on that. Stay tuned for more information of how we're going to pull that off. We're also looking into lead capturing, so that you know, you don't have to try to decipher handwriting on a printout table when you get back to your office, just to scan the badges and capture contact information. So hopefully we'll make some progress on that for 24 as well. So a couple basics, as I said, we start with the welcome party on the Wednesday evening, 2 full days of sessions with a keynote, wellness area. We did the post-conference survey last year, you know, really heard the feedback. We are going to end the exhibit hall earlier on Friday. A lot of exhibitors travel and want to get on the road or catch a flight. So we're trying to create a schedule whereby it's the same amount of dedicated exhibit hall time, but finish earlier on Friday. We would love for you to stay for the competition awards ceremony, which takes place that Friday night, but we understand many of you aren't able to do that. So we're trying to end the trade show 3:30 on Friday. Give everyone a chance to have ample time to peruse and make connections with current customers, talk to prospective customers, but also not keep you there for 2 full days, which was the case last year. And like I said, it ends with the award ceremony, which is a phenomenal event. It's all positive energy. It's really great to see the community come together and support each other. Any brewery, any person that gets named, the room erupts in applause. It's a real feel-good moment, and that's how we culminate the conference. Are there any questions about the conference? Anyone who has some feedback to share with someone who hasn't been about it? Or any questions from those of you who haven't been that you'd like to ask now? Nothing, not noteworthy at all. I will say, for those of you who go to other state guild conferences, the one feedback that I've heard consistently that does make New York stand out from our fellow guild conferences is that we serve beer at breakfast. And not just samples, that we serve 16-ounce cans of beer at breakfast. So I will set that expectation right now that is very much part of the culture of our conference. It's not expected that you start drinking at breakfast time. It is just simply an option that is available that some people choose to take us up on. So that's all I have in my quickie presentation about your benefits, about the conference, about some of the in-person opportunities coming up in the next few months. What else? What can I answer for you?
Megan, this is Jackie with Weber Packaging. I'm
Hey.
curious about on the conference, how many attendees or exhibitors allowed?
2 come with the exhibitor registration, and you can always purchase additional attendee badges for that exhibit booth.
Okay. My regional manager has a rule that if I'm going to go to a beer conference, that he has to be able to come to.
Yeah, that's great. So the booths, we haven't set the pricing, we haven't finalized the budget yet. They will be around $1,300 for members, and that includes your 10 by 10 foot space, your skirted table. We do use pipe and drape, and that includes 2 conference registrations.
Does it also include electricity if we were to bring equipment?
It does not include electricity. That is organized directly through the Capitol Center. There's a form you have to fill out that you submit directly to them. We actually have no involvement in the electricity piece of it.
Okay.
But I think it was $99 last year. Does anyone know how much electricity was?
That's reasonable.
I think it was like 60.
Oh, it's even less, $60. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, Megan, this is Heather McReynolds with Hopsteiner.
Hey, Heather.
Just curious, and I might have missed it, I'm driving right now. How many attendees were there last year that were not exhibitors?
Yeah, fair enough.
How many brewers were in attendance?
Yep, I didn't answer that question. So we had nearly 700 attendees total, which of course includes brewery reps, staff, exhibitors, speakers, presenters, sponsors, everybody. And we are committed here in New York to always have a minimum of 50% of our attendees be brewery representatives. That gets a little tricky because the allieds tend to register way earlier than the breweries. So we get, we're at like 90% allieds, and then we see the stat, keep dropping as the breweries sign on. And so this year it was 55% of our nearly 700 attendees were brewery representatives. So, somewhere in the range of 320 to 350, Heather, were brewery people.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I think we're one of the only guilds that actually tracks that statistic. I'm pretty strict about it because I want to make sure the value's there, right? Like we can have 105 exhibitors, but if there's nobody there to talk to, if there's no prospects or customers, you're not going to come back. And we certainly want you all coming back from year to year. One of the things we're thinking about doing this year, and I came up with this at the National CBC in Nashville. So many of the exhibitors are looking for prospects, not only in craft beer in New York, but also cideries, meaderies, distilleries, right? It's a lot of, you have customers for many of you in these other craft beverage spaces. So we're thinking about opening the trade show up to other craft beverage industries with a special pass, so that they can't eat the food because that costs us a lot of money from the ticket price, but they would be able to visit all of the exhibitors, and that may drive some more traffic because I think in a lot of your cases those are industries are prospects for you as well. And some of those industries are a little smaller and don't have their own conference, and if you're here in New York, it's probably pretty great to be able to hit them as well.
Hey, Megan, this is Will from Van Alstyne. I have a question for you in regards to, obviously this is New York State, will there be a preference for New York State companies to get first dibs on the exhibit locations or the exhibits part versus having an out-of-state company come in and try to steal our New York State business?
That is a very tough question that you've asked. Thank you for raising it. It is something that we do think about and don't know that we've really ever settled on an answer. We work really hard to be as inclusive as possible, right? Like I said, large companies, small independent contractors, in-state, out of state. We work really hard. We're extremely proud New Yorkers. And we're really proud of what we've built here as a community. And it's tricky because we do want to highlight New York companies for obvious, I think obvious reasons. But on the other hand, we're really sensitive about alienating our partners and sponsors and supporters who are not based in New York. So I honestly don't have an easy, quick answer for you that I feel confident in. This is a great discussion point. I'm happy to hear what other people on this call think. Last year in the exhibit hall, we were planning on putting like a New York decal on the booths or right in front of the booths. So if you were looking, you could easily scan which companies were New York. And decided to pull that idea kind of at the 11th hour because it just didn't feel right. I don't know. And again, if anyone at all has any feedback or opinions on that, I'd love to hear it.
Well, I can see that's a tough position to be in because you might have a company that is headquartered or based outside of New York, but has committed substantial resources and maybe their local sales rep is from New York.
Yeah.
So you are supporting a local New York person and supporting a sales rep, even though they might work for a company based outside of New York. It's a tough position to be in. I understand.
Yeah. Yep. I will say to that point on the vendor directory, we do have plans on the vendor directory to add tags. So I don't know when we're going to be able to roll that out yet, but we do want to tag whether or not the company is headquartered in New York. We want to tag whether or not they're a sustainability focused company. We have kind of a small menu of tags that we want to add to the directory. And I think when you're adding multiple tags and it's on the website, it's just a little bit more comfortable than at the trade show to give preferential treatment to one group or another.
Hi, Megan. Nicholas from Amherst Label here. Maybe one of the non-New York companies. We're located in southern New Hampshire. For what it's worth, I think just as long as it's all kind of fair, like if you wanted to have a tag showing a company's from New York, if we got a tag that showed we were from New Hampshire, I would think that's fine. Because actually, funny enough, in the first conference, I found out there's an Amherst, New York, which I wasn't privy to. So again, I think you guys do a great job and the conference is always great, but I can't remember the gentleman's name who brought up the point. I could see trying to represent New York companies because you're from New York, but as long as it's kind of all fair and we all have a chance, I don't see a problem with that. Just to add a comment from a non-New York company.
Yeah, thanks for that, Nick. Yeah, and in your case, people probably think you are a New York company again because of Amherst.
We had a couple good laughs the first conference about that. Yeah.
Maybe we should have a tag that says Red Sox fans and Mets fans.
Keep it fun. I love it. Any other perspectives on that issue? Or that topic? I don't want to make it an issue. Okay. What else? What other questions do you have? There'll be a lot of communications starting on the conference, like I said, starting in August. Trying to get ahead of that a little bit. I know y'all are planning for your budgets and travel and that kind of thing. Anything that those of you who've been before to anything, to our meetings, to our festivals, to our conference, any other ideas of how to improve the experience? Anything else you'd like to see? Okay. I do really encourage you to look at your benefits and use them, right? If you have any questions at all, I'm very available for one-on-one calls to talk about what benefits you've used and how to take advantage of them. And there's companies will take advantage to various degrees. That's totally fine. It's up to you. I'm not forcing you to use your benefits. If they don't resonate with you, you can't use them. It's absolutely fine for us. I'm here to help make sure that there is a return on investment with, do everything within my control. I can't force people to attend your webinar, but I can promote it. I can't force people to go to your booth, but I can create a format where there's plenty of time and things are well labeled. So we take it pretty seriously. As I said in the beginning of the call, this is one community here in New York. It's not just Allied's kind of one pillar and Brewers the other. We really are trying to integrate as much as possible. That is the position we're hiring for, by the way. Hope to have the position filled in the next few weeks. We're hiring for a new membership and events manager. And getting that key role filled will be hugely advantageous for us, again, to help make sure we don't have a siloed organization or a siloed membership base, that it really is one community. Anything else before we sign off?
Yes, Megan, I have a question.
Bill?
So I'm Bill Newman from Newman Brewing Technical Services. And just wondering, do you have any idea of how many new prospective brewers attended out of the 700 last March?
I don't. I don't have a breakdown of like breweries in planning versus new breweries versus, I'll say, more legacy breweries. I don't have that information available.
Okay. And what is the current pricing to become an Allied member?
It's $5.49 at the associate level, and that is really designed for smaller businesses. So $6.99 to be a full Allied member for the year, and that's rolling. By the way, it's not calendar anymore. So from the time you join, you have 365 days of benefits.
Okay. Hey, could you all the slides? Could you email those to each of us?
Sure.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Great job today.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. Okay, well, great. Well, thank you all so much for being on the call. Really appreciate it. This is not your only opportunity to ask questions. So feel free to reach out to get on my calendar if you want to talk more specifically about your company and how I can help you better connect with the brewers here in New York State. It's a tricky time of year, right? Everyone's gearing up for summer, hoping it's a real busy summer for the breweries. But they are definitely focused on getting set up for that at this point. So it's tough to get their attention for the next few months. So don't get frustrated if you're reaching out at this time. Just keep doing it. Same happens to us. All right. Well, thanks all. Really appreciate your time.
Great job, Megan. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Megan. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Take care,
everybody.
everyone. Enjoy.